What is driving Titaness Shimo, and why does she seem to show allegiance to the Skar King rather than to Kong or Godzilla? In the latest trailer for the new Empire, we learn of a force that has both Godzilla and Kong scared, and this seems to be a threat far beyond anything they've ever faced before. Both of them seem to know that something devious is going on, and at the heart of it seems to be the introduction of Shimo, the Ice Titan. But why is Shimo motivated to fight these two, and could it be that it's against her own will? Well, today, Heralds of the Titans, let's discuss the idea that Shimo may be under some sort of mind control or the influence of another. The idea for this comes from one distinct detail that the Skar King seems to display that none of the other Kongs do, including our own King Kong. This is the fact that Skar King seems to be the only Kong with glowing eyes, and this is a trait that only exists among a select few Titans, none of which seem to be any of the other Kongs. This has led to the popular theory that this glow is actually indicative of a mental link, one that the Skar King has with himself and another Titan. And of course, the prime candidate for this is Shimo. Not only do Shimo's eyes also glow the same color, but we already have evidence that the Titans are able to create these sort of mental links with one another. Though to what degree Skar King has outright puppet-like control over Shimo is not yet known. We've actually seen Godzilla himself form a bond similar to this several years ago, the first time King Ghidorah escaped his imprisonment in Antarctica. When King Ghidorah broke free, the Titans of the world understood that there was a new alpha on the playing field, and when he let out the alpha call, the Titans swore allegiance to the new false king. This alpha call meant that just about all of the Titans abandoned the idea that Godzilla was the king, and they ravaged the planet under Ghidorah's direction, before Godzilla ultimately was able to regain control of the situation and the crown. One monster, however, remained completely loyal to Godzilla even despite the alpha call signaling a new hierarchy of power. One Titan that was loyal to the king. That is Mothra. Mothra, who aided Godzilla all those years ago in his first battle with King Ghidorah. And over the years, the two developed something of a symbiosis with one another, and bonded with each other over the course of literal eons, as we know that Mothra and Godzilla were close allies since nearly the beginning. Their bond was so deep though, that it could not be broken by the call of the Alpha, and this was the reason why Mothra was able to resist the call of King Ghidorah. We see this more in depth when Mothra is actually beaten by Ghidorah and Godzilla is near fatally wounded by the beast. Mothra is able to sacrifice her own life force in order to empower Godzilla, and this energy consumption is what allows Godzilla to give it one last final push and ultimately defeat Ghidorah, using the energy that he absorbed from Mothra, an ability that they've had for millions of years. This symbiotic bond seems to be exceedingly rare among the Titans, but we believe that something similar could be happening with Skar King and Shimo. The first option is that their symbiosis is mutual, and Shimo is showing an undying loyalty to the Skar King, much the same way that Mothra does with Godzilla. If this is the case, then it means that they have spent centuries working in conjunction with one another, and they have been bonded far more deeply than most pairings of the Titans will ever hope to achieve. If the glowing eyes are a sign of mutual acceptance, then it means that Shimo is motivated by loyalty, which could make her incredibly difficult to reason with. But we believe that she is not motivated by loyalty, and that there is something different that bonds them, something different than Mothra and Godzilla. What if there's something else going on here beyond the loyalty? Is it possible that Shimo is under the control of the Skar King, and that she is not able to fight back for control of her own body? If this is the case, then let's break down the evidence that we have, and we do actually have some evidence. In the opening credits for Godzilla King of the Monsters, we get a look at several classified Monarch files that have been compiled across decades of meticulous research and development. Within these files, we get a look at a few documents before they are redacted, and some of these pages seem to reference the existence of mind control among other Titans. According to these stories, it was actually humanity that figured out how to telepathically communicate with the Titans, to an extent of even controlling them and having them do their bidding. Though we don't know how exactly they were able to pull this off, it seems that ancient humans had a way of manipulating ancient Titans before the Titans rebelled against humanity, with this leading to a problem between humanity and the Titans, where the Titans would reign victorious. In the King of the Monsters, we see where this research came from, as there are developments in a similar arena, namely in the form of the Orca-Tech, which was developed as a way to communicate with the Titans. The project was constructed as a way to use sonar and auditory processing starting to develop a language with the Titans that could not only be understood, but pass back and forth between modern humans and other Titans. Right now the project is centered around communication, not control though, but this is a step in the right direction towards rediscovering what their ancestors may have figured out all those eons ago, and could be a hint that humanity forms some sort of a bond with the Titans, and that the Skar King is the one that may have developed this further. In the original Toho Godzilla comics, mind control is a major factor, and several of the kaijus that we've seen in the monsterverse have been victims of mind control before in some form or another. If the monsterverse is wanting to officially introduce the concept of mind control into the mainline universe, then the Skar King would have been one of the very few to discover exactly how this phenomenon works. It also means that Shimo may be acting against her own instincts, and could very well be a prisoner within her own body, and a literal prisoner, which means if she's ever freed, then she might turn her attention towards her captor. There is a possibility that rather than killing Shimo, Godzilla and Kong are able to free her from the Skar King's control, and that the three of them together can turn their attention to the horde of the Kong, who are declaring war at the behest of the Skar King. This also leaves us to wonder if these fellow Kong are acting on their own free will, or if the Skar King has some sort of blanket control over the entirety of the Hollow Earth. Assuming of course that the Skar King is the puppet master behind Shimo and the entire ordeal. But some things are very clear. Mind control has existed in the monsterverse before, and humanity were some of the pioneers of this, likely humanity within the Hollow Earth. It means that much of this knowledge has been recaptured by the Skar King, and that perhaps through some form of energy absorption, the Skar King can control Shimo because Shimo possesses the same form of energy. What the greater details of this are right now is unknown, but it's clear that the Skar King and Shimo hold a deep connection, and the title The New Empire is in clear reference to the Skar King wanting to take control of not only the Hollow Earth in its entirety, but also the surface world, where Godzilla reigns supreme. We believe that Shimo was not in fact a villain, but a prisoner of the Skar King's will. And in the end, we do not believe that it will be Kong or Godzilla that liberates the rest of the Kongs from the Skar King's grasp, but rather an imprisoned Titan who has likely been held captive for potentially millions of years, but finally broken free of this control, revealing that Titanus Shimo is nowhere near as malicious as we once thought. But my friends, if the ancient humans truly were able to control the Titans, and if there's some technology or information that was lost that the Skar King now possesses, this makes him a monumental threat, not only to the other Titans, but to the entire world as we know it, as we don't know if the Skar King's plan could be to spread his control over all of the other Titans on the world. Unfortunately, right now we lack the greater details, but as we learn more information on the Skar King and Shimo, we'll be sure to share it with you as well. But then, my friends, if ancient humans truly were able to control the Titans, could humans attempt to do so again? Is it possible for modern humans to attempt to uncover the secret of this ancient technique? And more importantly, would it result in the same revolution that the Titans had, where the Titans were forced to wipe out large swaths of humanity? As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the office today. Smash that subscribe button, and I hope that you're having a great one.